Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me for this week's edition of Tina Talks Finance. This month is back to school month, of course, and this weekend is tax-free weekend in my state of Oklahoma. I know many of you will be hitting the shop soon, so I thought we'd talk about some money-saving strategies. First, shop before you shop. This means researching your products online, making sure you have your coupons printed and organized. You don't want to be the one that's holding everyone up at the checkout. Check to see if you have any rewards available and make sure that it's not cheaper online. Sometimes for the tax-free weekends, they raise the price of things, so you think you're getting a deal, but you're not exactly getting the deal you think you are. And you can also ask for a price match. A lot of stores are doing that right now because they're trying to compete with the online market. So the brick and mortars sometimes give you a better price because they don't want you to buy it online. You can also ask your salesperson to help you organize and get the best price on their products because they want you to buy from them. So a lot of times they will help you figure out which strategy would be the best strategy. Second, target your shopping. Make sure what you buy is what you need. The easiest way is to make a list, but it also helps to keep temptation at bay. If you just go in and buy the things that you know that you need or want, make sure those wants are things that you will actually use, but it kind of keeps that temptation at bay and makes sure that you're getting things that you actually need. Third, buy school supplies in bulk. You can get a lot more for your money, and you can also ensure that you have a stash so that if your child waits until the last possible second to let you know that they need pencils, you can be the hero and say, I got you covered. Also, it's a temptation buster. Every time that you go into the store, or if you're like me, especially, you're tempted to buy something that's not on the list. So the fewer times that you can go to the store, the better off you'll be. It also may allow you enough to share. If your child's friend needs a pencil, maybe you can say, here, I gotcha. You don't have to go home before you go to school. Fourth, check the school supply list. A few things to know is you can buy only what's on the list. So they've kind of helped you do that targeted shopping and you can just tick it off as you buy things. Another strategy for buying school supplies would be to give your child an allowance for things that are not on the list or an allowance for things that are not basic. So instead of buying the just plain red one subject notebook, if they want the big more expensive graphic ones, well, that's where they use the allowance for the difference of that price. Also, you can take them in and say, this is what we need to buy. This is our budget for this. And that way they have some say in what you're buying. And it also teaches them some budgeting tools that they can use later in life. Also, remember the teacher. The teacher is going to be spending a lot of time with your child, and they will also be spending their own money for the children that don't have what they need. So remember, we want to help the teacher as much as possible. So if possible, if you find a good deal or you have some extra in your stash at the end of the year, please consider donating that to your local school supply drive. And that can help others, and it helps the teachers be able to keep more of their income by not buying all the supplies for the kids. Also, fifth, don't fall for store credit card discounts. I hear in my office a lot of people that say, well, I got a 20% discount. Yeah, but they're charging you 30% interest. So most of the time, they're more of a marketing tool for stores and not necessarily a savings vehicle. So they're also not the kind of thing that helps you build credit without frivolous spending. And remember, if you put it on a card, anything you put on the card and carry a balance, that means everything you bought is your interest rate more expensive. So you'll pay for the item plus interest if you don't pay it off immediately. Interest rates on credit cards or store credit cards are very expensive, and stores know that people typically buy more if they're putting it on a credit card because they don't have to pay for everything all at once. So don't buy into that. If you do use a credit card, remember that your buying power is only 30% of your credit limit. That's 30%, which means if you max out your credit card, your credit score is going to suffer, because if you exceed 30% of your credit limit, your score will start to decline. It's a very fast way to make that happen. And store credit cards sometimes will approve you for an amount that is so small that it's not worth having. So say you apply for a store credit card, they give you a $100 credit limit. Your buying power is really $30. If you need to buy more than just one pack of pencils, you will probably be over that $30. So make sure that you're staying under that 30%. And remember that store credit cards are not always worth it. Also, splitting your available credit is not a good thing. So say the banks, when they look at the matrix, every bank has one, and decides how much credit you can afford. If they say you can afford $1,000 in credit and you apply for one credit card, that means that credit card has a $1,000 credit limit and you can use $300 as your buying power. However, if you decide to get two $500 credit cards, then your buying power is a lot less on each one. It's $150 on both cards. So your buying power is still $300, but it's split two ways. So you want to be careful that you're not splitting your available credit in 5 different pieces. Also, the 6th and final point, start saving for next year today. Back to school season is a seasonal expense. And when I say seasonal, that's periodic expense that you've heard me talk about in the past. So if you add up what you spent on your school shopping experience and divide that by 12 if you want to make it a monthly payment to yourself, or 26 if you want to make it a bi-weekly payment to yourself, and save for next year. What that will do is it will make your shopping experience less expensive, and which almost always equals less stressful. So those are my shopping tips for today. Any questions? Just throw those into the chat if you have any questions. All right. Well, thank you for joining me for this edition of Tina Talks Finance. I hope you will join us next Thursday at 10 a.m. Central when we continue our their back to school series. Remember, if you like this and you want to see more, you can always search hashtag Tina Talks Finance to watch other editions. Have a good day, everybody. Bye.